So the first thing first, in terms of threats to national security, of course, the greatest threat, I believe, is cyber and space. And of course, if you look at here in the UK, GCHQ have come out several times the last few years and said, look, the Category 1 attack on the UK is going to happen in the next 5 years. The last time they said that was 6 months ago. Of course, the risk of contagion to Ireland is clear and obvious. We suffered contagion from ESB and TMA. We've seen what happens when Russian or Chinese state intelligence services target the UK. We are very vulnerable because of our interconnectedness with them. It's very hard on Ireland, as in the ESB case, to kind of to separate out the two jurisdictions. That, in terms of a Category 1 attack on critical national infrastructure, such as what we saw in England in terms of shutting down parts of the NHS, is a real grave risk and is quite likely to occur in the next few years, certainly the next decade. In terms of why Ireland is possibly more of risk than the UK was, well, Ireland has less top cover in terms of we don't have the Signals Intelligence Service, so I would argue that perhaps we're not as joined up as well. We don't have a CIS, and the Defence Forces is relatively poorly resourced. The National Cybersecurity Centre is not a Signals Intelligence Service. Where will the threat come from? Well, a lot of the more dangerous activity presently, and it's going up certainly on the Chinese side, is from, of course, Russian and Chinese state intelligence services who are trying to sort of maneuver in terms of trying to steal intellectual property, particularly from Five Eyes countries, but also from Ireland. And we are obviously situated between three of the Five Eyes, so we're quite, in terms of contagion, it's obvious where our risk. And then, of course, the lack of top cover is one thing, but of course, we could easily see a sharp escalation in international conflict, whether that comes in Taiwan, or that comes in South Asia, or that comes in Eastern Europe in terms of Ukraine. Clearly we're living through an era of a more pronounced risk of interstate hybrid or proxy, or certainly an escalation in the type of hybrid conflict that we've seen to date.